Right, welcome to this instructional video on how to make a shot pot. These are they. I used to sell these on eBay, but sadly life's so busy now with the day job. I've had to give that up, and also eBay don't like you selling anything that resembles spent ammunition, so a couple of times the listing was ended. So anyway, I thought I would share how to make these and a little instructional. The premise is fairly simple. You take the base off one cartridge. These are LE cartridges, and they've got the nice deep ferrule on them when you compare them with the standard, and you get a good friction fit with those. So basically you take the base off this and then you stick it onto this, which is a spent cartridge, and all we'll do later is just trim off the rim where it was crimped over prior to being fired. A few disclaimers: these are spent 12-bore shotgun cartridges. As a rule they're fine. The odd one, we're going to heat them later to remove the ferrule. The odd one will crackle and spit. I've never had anything crazy happen, but if you do anything like this, you do it at your own risk. You've been warned, and if you're young, please seek the supervision of an adult. Okay, things you will need. Obviously you will need some spent shotgun shells, and preferably some of these fat ferrule ones. There are others that have a reasonable size ferrule on, but you know, the deeper you can get it, the better. Most clay shooting grounds have to pay 30 quid for a ton bag to get these things disposed of, so they're generally only too happy for you to come and fill your boots. So get in touch with them, be polite, explain what you're doing. I always usually say it's you know, I can help you, can you help me type thing, and a bottle of scotch or whatever when I was making a lot of these always went down well. Right, so you will also need, I use a pair of pliers, straight pliers, and some forceps, and a craft knife. These craft knives you can get from the pound shop. Go careful with them, they're not the best quality, but they do work. And a chopping board and a source of heat. This is a ceramic hob, which is what I use. It's not damaged it in any way. It'd be difficult with gas. I would imagine you'd have to put some sort of plate on top of it, some steel plate to heat that, and then use the heat from that. But essentially I'm going to go ahead and just move some stuff out of the way and show you the process for removing the actual ferrules. So what we're going to do initially, just change the camera angle. Initially we're just going to heat the cartridges until they start to deform, and then we're going to let them cool again. Now normally I do this with the extractor fan on. You should be in a well ventilated area. It doesn't give off much in the way of fumes, but you know, just good practice. You are melting the plastic to the point at which it deforms, although you're not really melting it to the point at which it gives off lots of noxious fumes, but you know, just be aware that it will give off stuff. Okay, so on with the show, but essentially nothing too complicated. Just put your cartridges onto the heat and wait, and eventually you'll see them just start to move and topple over a little bit. The one on the inside generally will go first because it's closer to the heat source. You can just see starting to move now, but they're not giving off any fumes currently, even though they are starting to melt. So those two inside ones now are good. You can just take those off. Just use your forceps, pliers, whatever you've got to hand to do that. Now that one's gone, that's fine. And that one's gone. Now all you need to do now is let those ones that you've just taken off cool completely, and then here's some we prepared earlier. They will end up looking, like that. And those have cooled right down, and then the idea is now that we just reheat them slightly and the plastic just pulls right out, leaving us with a clean ferrule. So I'm just going to put this back on. Good. There we go. And it only needs to be on for like 4 or 5 seconds. I place my pliers here, and then I use my forceps and just pull it out, and you can see that's a completely clean base. We'll do one more just in case that didn't show on the camera. I'm not sure. It just pops out. And again, nice clean ferrule. Let them cool, they're very hot obviously. Turn off the heat. But really, if you get a load of these, you know, I'd do sort of 200 in half an hour. It doesn't take long. Just let the plastic cool down before you throw it in the bin. It's black plastic, it will retain the heat for quite a while. Next stage then is to take your cartridge that you're actually going to use as the pot, and these Dan Arms ones tend to work really well. Although they all are of a same-ish nominal diameter, outside diameter, they all vary slightly. Some will give a tighter fit than others, some you'll just, you know, they'll just keep swiveling around. But these ones I've found work really well, but lots of other ones do. Don't get hung up on the shell. You can also use the small 20 gauge ones, and on these the actual ferrules will give a really good friction fit even though they're not super deep. So essentially we'll just move the camera over to the chopping board. Don't use your wife's best chopping board, you'll get told off, as has happened to me many times. But essentially you can see there's a natural break where it was fired. There's a crease, and just trim there. Good sharp knife, don't use a blunt one, and then just squeeze it back into shape. Take your ferrule lid and place on top, and you're done. Sorts of things you can put in them. I have one with matches. You can make a little Vesta. Take a box of safety matches. You know, the little free coffee stirrers you get at Costa and Starbucks. Misappropriate a couple of those and then just super glue the side of the matchbox onto that stick. Put it in with your matches and you've got a little Vesta. I built this into a fire kit with some Wood shavings, which you know, Wood's freely available on eBay. You'll find it in the wild if you're fortunate enough to live in the right place. And then some Kapok, which is just like cotton wool. But it's limitless. Whatever you can fit in them, you can put in them. They're not waterproof, water resistant at best. Yeah, they're a natty little idea, and I thought you might like to know how to make them. So good luck with that. And I'm sure I'll be back with some other tutorials on some of the other stuff I used to sell at some point. Thanks for watching. Enjoy. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.